Welcome to my channel. In this channel we provide the in-depth knowledge of different programming languages which differentiate you with others. In our series of classes and objects in C++, today we are going to discuss something known as this pointer. This pointer is very important. Name of the pointer is a this pointer basically, and it plays a very important role when we make a member function call. Now let's take an example. Here we are having a class called test. What is class? Class is a collection of data member and member function. Here class is a keyword. What is test? Test is the name of the class. What is private and public? These are known as access specifier. C++ support three types of access specifier. One is private, one is public, and third one is protected. Private means these members are only accessible inside the class. Public means it can be these members are accessible inside the class as well as outside the class, whereas protected means it is accessible inside the class and the class derived from this class. That is a part of inheritance that we are planning to discuss in the future classes. In public part we are having two member function, word set data, which is used to initialize the data member of this class, and display data is used to display the data. In main function what we are doing, void main test t1 and t2. What is t1 and t2? T1 and t2 are the object of class test. So as we write test t1, t1 means test t1, so 2 bytes will be allocated in a RAM with a name t1, which will have a data member called I. Again t2, 2 bytes will be allocated in a RAM with a name t2, and 2 bytes will be allocated with a name t2. Here t1 and t2 are what? These are the object of test class. Now when I write t1.setData, now this setData member function, void setData int x will have the value 10, I equal to x. So here this I will be initialized with 10. Next, when I write t2.setData 20, the x will have the value 20 and that I will be initialized with a value 20. Up to here no doubt, I think. Then t1.displayData, in display data what we are writing, cout less than I, t2.displayData cout less than I. Now when t1.setData, how the compiler know this 10 should be initialized to the I of t1 and this 20 should be initialized to I of t2. How the compiler will know? For this we will learn something known as this pointer. Okay. Now here in this program what we are doing, we are defining two objects of test t1 and t2. t1.setData 10, t1.displayData, it will display 10, t2.setData 20, it will display t2.displayData, it will display 20. In this program, go through this, any doubt you can ask me. Fine? No doubt? Now what is cout here? Is it function? No. As we have already discussed in our first class, what is cout? Cout is an object of ostream underscore with assign class. So what is cout? Cout is an object of ostream underscore with assign class. Cout is not a keyword, cout is not a function, cout is an object of ostream underscore with assign class. Now when I write cout less than size of t1, now what is size of here? Size of is a keyword. Size of is not a function because size of is a keyword, or size of is also an operator. It is the only operator which is acting as a keyword. It is the only keyword which is acting as an operator. Which type of operator? Unary operator. Why unary operator? Because it only works with one operand. Size of returns. What size of returns? Size of returns number of bytes allocated by the operand. So when I write size of t1, it will return number of bytes allocated with a T1. Now what is T1? T1 is a object of type test, and the size of, as we have already discussed, size of an object is equal to sum of data member of a class, non-static data member of a class. Be specific with your terminology. Size of an object is equal to sum of non-static data member of a class. So here I is what? I is a non-static data member of a class. So size of T1 will be what? We will get 4 here, because I is what? I is of type integer, and integer takes 4 bytes. Now if I remove this I from here, then what I will get? Cout less than size of T1, I will get nothing. I will get 1. This is a interview question. Usually everybody says size of T1 is 0. Why? Because T1 is an object of test class, and test class is not having any non-static data member. But what is T1? T1 is an object. What is object? Object is a variable. What is variable? Variable is a name given to a location in the memory. So when I write test T1, how 0 byte will be allocated? Why 1? Because it is the smallest chunk of memory that a computer can allocate. That is why if we are not having any data member in a class, size of an object always comes 1, not 0. Okay? Any doubt? If any doubt, you can ask me, otherwise we will move further. Now let's talk about this pointer. Now what is this pointer? Ultimately it's a pointer. What is pointer? Pointer is a variable which can store the address of another variable. एक चीज़ बिल्कुल दिमाग में रख लीजिए कि अगर इफ़ आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट पॉइंटर, अगर हम पॉइंटर की बात कर रहे हैं तो उसके अंदर एड्रेस के अलावा और कुछ भी नहीं स्टोर हो सकता. पॉइंटर है तो कहीं ना कहीं पॉइंट करेगा ही. पॉइंटर ऑलवेज पॉइंट टू अ पर्टिकुलर लोकेशन. वो दिस पॉइंटर हो या इंट पॉइंटर हो या करेक्टर पॉइंटर हो या फ्लोट पॉइंटर हो या टेस्ट टाइप का पॉइंटर हो, एनी टाइप ऑफ पॉइंटर. If I am saying what is pointer? Pointer is a variable which can store the address of another variable. Ultimately this is a pointer. तो उसका भी कोई ना कोई टाइप होगा. वो किस टाइप का पॉइंटर है, that we will discuss as we move further. The non-static member function of every class. Again, be specific with your terminologies. There are two types of data member. One is static, second one is non-static. I am talking about non-static. Static data member cannot access, or static member function cannot access this pointer. Why they cannot access this pointer? That we will discuss afterward. The non-static member function of every class have an access to a special type of pointer known as this pointer. This is what? This is the name of the pointer. Type of the pointer that we will discuss just now. What is this pointer? The non-static member function of every class have an access to a special type of pointer known as this pointer, which is implicitly created, initialized and destroyed. What does it mean? You cannot create this pointer explicitly. This is automatically created, automatically initialized and automatically destroyed. When we invoke any non-static member function of any class, this pointer automatically created and initialized with the address of the current object through which member function is invoked. Go through every point. This is very important line. When we invoke any non-static member function of any class, which type of function? Non-static member function of any class, this pointer is automatically created and initialized with the address of current object through which member function is invoked. Now let's try to understand with the help of example. Again same example, we are having a class test private int I. I is what? I is a data member of class test. In public part we are having two member function. One is set data, which is used to initialize the data member of a class, and one is display data, which will display the data. In text I equal to x, cout less than current, that we will discuss just now. Now in main function we are again creating two objects, test T1 and T2. What is T1 and T2? T1 and T2 are the object of a test class, or you can say they are known as instance of a class. They represent the test class. T1 and T2 represent the test class. In layman language, this is nothing but a variable of type test. What is test? Test is a class. What is class? Class is a user defined data type. Like int, character, float, these are predefined data type, whereas a class is a user defined data type. What does it means? These class are defined by the user. User मतलब आप और हम. तो T1 and T2 are the variables, but in object oriented programming world this T1 and T2 are the object of test class, but in layman these are the variables of the test class. What is variable? Variable is a name given to a location in the memory. Now C++ supports two types of object. One is value type object and second is reference type object. This is an example of value type. Okay, Java supports reference type, Python support reference type, C++ support value type as well as reference type. So here this is an example of value type. If you want to allocate dynamically, so I can write here test T1 is equal to new test. This is a syntax how we can allocate reference type object, that we will discuss in future. Now T1.setData, same program, T1.setData 10, T1.displayData, T2.setData 20 and T2.displayData, it will display 20. Now the crux in this function call is when we make a T1.setData, how the compiler or how the machine will know this 10 should be initialized to the I which is inside T1, or when I write T2.setData, this 20 should be initialized to the I which is inside T2. This is done with the help of this pointer. Now see, when I write T1.setData 10, this call is converted into T1.set_data and of T1 10. So whenever we make a member function call, listen very carefully. Whenever we make a non-static data member function call, I am not talking about static data member or a friend function. Whenever we make a non-static data member function call, when I write T1.set_data, first parameter or first argument is always the address of the object through which the member function is invoked. So this set data is invoked with the help of T1. The address of T1 will be passed from this set data function call, and second parameter will be 10. Okay, if we are passing an address from this set data function, so obviously we have to receive in what? Pointers, because pointers always store the addresses. अब एड्रेस किस टाइप का है? टेस्ट टाइप के वेरिएबल का, तो पॉइंटर भी किस टाइप का होगा? टेस्ट एस्ट्रिक दिस. तो व्हाट इज दिस? दिस इज अ पॉइंटर ऑफ टाइप टेस्ट. तो एड्रेस ऑफ T1 will be passed to the test asterisk this and in text. So in this the address of T1 will come, address of T1 will come, and in X 10 will be received. So this X will be stored at I, and cout less than current object address less than this. This is a pointer which holds the address of suppose 4000. What is 4000? 4000 is an object of 4000 is an address of T1. T1 के अंदर क्या है? I, और I के अंदर क्या स्टोर है 10. तो एड्रेस ऑफ T1 that is 4000 is passed to this pointer. This is the name of the pointer which hold the address 4000 और इसका एड्रेस कितना होगा सपोज इमेजिन 5000. तो सी आउट लेस देन current object address less than this, what I will get 4000, and this arrow operator I equal to S. Again, this is another way to initialize the member function, data member of a class. This is optional here. Implicitly the compiler convert I equal to S to this arrow operator I equal to X, because how the compiler will know कि मेरे को ये x के अंदर जो 10 है ये कौन से i में जाके स्टोर करना है. That is stored where this pointer is having the address. This pointer is pointing to T1, तो T1 के i में क्या स्टोर कर दीजिए x. Same thing when I write T1 dot display data. Now again display data we are passing how many arguments? No argument, but first argument will be the address of T1. Address of T1 will be passed to display data. Here थोड़ा सा मिस्टेक है, यहाँ पर डिस्प्ले डेटा होना चाहिए डिस्प्ले डेटा, और यहाँ पे भी आपका कॉपी पेस्ट का यही चक्कर है. डिस्प्ले डेटा एंड ऑफ T1. T1 will be stored this test asterisk this cout less than I, we will get 10. Cout less than current object address this is having 4000, output will be 4000. Cout less than this arrow operator I, again we will get 10. Now when we make another function called T2 dot set data 20, so this set data will pass 20 and the first parameter will be the address of the object through which this set data is invoked. So what is T2 dot set data, and here we will have T2 dot display data. So address of T2 will be passed to the set data. Now set data is pointing to which object? T2. So this I will be of T2, and in text we are receiving 20. So 20 will be initialized to the I of T2 object. Again current object address, it may be 4000, it may be 6000, it may be 8000. मे बी पॉसिबल आप 10 बार रन करो तो 10 बार आपको एड्रेस अलग आए. वाई? बिकॉज दिस मेमोरी मैनेजमेंट इज टोटली टेकन केयर बाई ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम, नॉट बाई द सॉफ्टवेयर और द कंप्यूटर लैंग्वेज. नेक्स्ट लाइन T2 डॉट display data, again address of T2 will be passed, which will be received in this cout less than I 20, current object address this cout less than this dot I, the output will be 20. Go through this program, this is very important. In C++ we are having what? We are having this pointer. In C++ we are having this pointer. In Java we are having this reference, and in Python we are having nothing but a self keyword. So this and this, all three are very important. Ultimately एक चीज दिमाग में रखिए, every language has its own way to identify things. Try to use your common sense. हर एक लैंग्वेज को समझने का अपना एक तरीका होता है, ठीक है. तो अल्टीमेटली जो एक लैंग्वेज के अंदर होगा वही लैंग्वेज, क्योंकि जो देखो अल्टीमेटली लैंग्वेज इज व्हाट? लैंग्वेज इज अ मतलब भाषा, इट्स अ वे ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन. तो इफ आई आस्क यू अ ग्लास ऑफ वाटर इन इंग्लिश, that can be asked in any damn language, maybe in Hindi, Marathi, Punjabi, Telugu. I can ask a glass of water from you. The only thing is terminology changes. The same thing is applicable in computer languages also. Somebody says int, somebody says integer, somebody says int. Ultimately all will have integer variables as well as integer constants. Go through this. If any doubt you can ask me. What is this? This is a pointer. The non-static member function of every class have an access to a special type of pointer known as this pointer, which is implicitly created, initialized and destroyed when we invoke any non-static member function of any class. This pointer automatically created and initialized with the address of the current object through which member function is invoked. So when I call t1.setData10, one extra parameter is passed to the setData member function. That extra parameter is nothing but the address of the object through which member function is called. So when I write t1.setData10, this will be converted into t1.setData and of t1 comma 10. So what is t1? T1 is an object or variable of test. If we are passing address, we have to receive in pointer. पॉइंटर किस टाइप का होना चाहिए? टेस्ट टाइप का होना चाहिए. और दिस क्या है? उसका नाम है. तो टेस्ट एस्ट्रिक दिस. तो दिस कंटेन्स द एड्रेस ऑफ द करंट ऑब्जेक्ट. फाइन. सेम थिंग इज एप्लीकेबल हियर. When I write t1.displayData, it will convert into t1.displayData and of t1, t2.setData20, t2.setData and of t2, comma 20, and same thing is applicable to t2.displayData, t2.displayData and of t2. This is how compiler know कि किसके डेटा मेंबर के साथ आपको वर्किंग करनी है. Suppose if I write t1.displayData, how the compiler will know? It will be taken care by this pointer. This is very important class. Try to concentrate on each and every slide. If you are having any doubt, you can ask me. For today, I think this is enough. Rest we will discuss in next class. Okay, thank you.